All right. My name is Trevor Flores. I am a fire captain with the City of Chula Vista Fire Department, Fire Station 3 on the corner of Olympic Parkway and Brandywine. I'm also one of the representatives of the E-Board for the International Association of Firefighters, and we represent the 112 firefighters that are in operation. So when you call 911, the people that show up, those are the people that we represent. Richard and Phil are making it really easy because you could have almost had just one of us stand up here and give you the spiel and saved a lot of time. All the bargaining groups, as far as I know, pretty much feel the same way. So I think Richard said it best when he says we're all in this together. So what I want to do is give you a quick little background about myself, because I think it's important you know where I'm coming from, because I feel like I could just as easily be sitting where you folks are listening to people up here. When I got hired in Chula Vista, I was just getting married, and we moved here about 9 years ago. My nickname is Dewey in the fire department because I worked in the library as a library tech for 5 years before I got hired as a firefighter. My grandmother was a librarian, my mom a library tech before that, so libraries are real big to me, as you can imagine. Also, I have one little boy who's going to Chula Vista Public Elementary School. My other one's going to preschool at his church. We are involved in a lot of the recreation programs, the bumblebee programs, all the little, the soccer type programs, taekwondo, all that stuff. So when I say that we're in this together, I really mean we are in this together, because everything that Richard spoke to at the parks already, with some of the cuts, you know, it's a couple days later that the lawns get mowed. Sometimes the trash doesn't get picked up right away as it once did right after a big holiday weekend. So all of these things are affecting all of us. And so when I say us, I really mean all of us. And a lot of the firefighters, police, and the people that work for the city also live in the city. So I think together is a real good motto for tonight. Thanks for having us here, by the way. Hopefully, if there's more things like this going on around the city, you know, we'll be able to come to solutions and make things work, because my family truly loves Chula Vista, and we really want to live here and have all the services that are here. So what I'd like to do is just speak real quickly about fire, because that's what I know best. And I don't think it's going to take that long, just like these guys. It's pretty simple. The fire department for the city of Chula Vista, just like the police department, is lean, and we have always run lean. And some of the numbers that I want to throw out, because we do know them, is we are last in a lot of categories. What we do is compare ourselves, just like PD does, regionally, and we use the same per capita numbers. So here's a few numbers. As far as population goes, of the 15 cities that we compare ourselves to in California, they're all fairly comparison in size to Chula Vista, ranging from 165,000 to 340,000, Oceanside all the way up to Santa Ana. In those numbers, we aren't last. We come in 6th in population. So we're not a little baby city. As far as the budget goes and what gets spent, we're number 13. I'm sorry, we're number 14. As far as our the dollars spent per resident for firefighters, Glendale is number 1. Their residents pay on average $295 per year per firefighter. In the city of Chula Vista, we come in at 14th, $97. So the only one that's cheaper than us is Oxnard. As far as firefighters per residence, we are last in the state of California. We are dead last in California, and we are one of the last in the nation. And just to give you an idea, I know PD's got a lot different numbers than we do, and the truth be told, PD takes a lot more officers to run their department than it does firefighters. But the national average for firefighters is 0.96 per 1,000 residents. So for every 1,000 residents, there's nearly one firefighter. Regionally, in Southern California, I'm sorry, nationally it's 1.5. Regionally in Southern California, it's 0.96. In the city of Chula Vista, it is 0.49. So we are nearly half of what the rest of the region is doing. So these last budget cuts that we had, almost all the cuts we made were nothing directly with operations except for our dispatchers. We gave up 18 positions. We lost dispatchers, we lost a lot of admin positions. So fortunately, what the public felt was very minimal. They might see a little bit longer response time because the dispatch has to go through San Diego instead of through Chula Vista, but for the most part, you call 911, a fire engine is going to show up in a timely manner with the right people, the right equipment, all the stuff that we try and do. We feel it internally as the workload and all the stuff that was being handled by admin people is now being handled by a lot of operational people. So captains, firefighters, engineers, we're now working extra on different committees to try and catch some of that workload because the workload didn't go away. So that gives you an idea. But the present budget cuts that are coming up is all stuff that does affect things operationally. Now my zip code is 91911, the same as this church here. The way the cuts are looking like they could go, and if we affect our operations, it'll affect everywhere, because if we close one engine company on one day, that means the rest have to pick up the slack. But it's important for you guys to know that the stations that are being looked at is Station 3 on Olympic Parkway and Brandywine, which handles Main Street, the whole Otay Valley area, Max Avenue. Station 9, which handles East Oneida, Melrose, all of those, East Oxford, all of those streets. And station number 2, which handles Hilltop and J Street, all the way up to G Street and further south to Telegraph Canyon Road and L Street. So that's the main area that will be directly affected and would have to pull in resources from other parts of the city. So everybody in the city will feel it, but those are the direct areas. We don't want that to happen. The fire chief doesn't want that to happen. The citizens don't want that to happen. And that's why it's great that we have a forum like this and that we are in negotiations with the city and things like that, because we're so lean as it is right now that any other cuts in services will affect all of us. And I really mean all of us. Just a couple of things to leave you with is one, we really do feel that there are a lot of solutions, and I know we're going to talk about that more. We don't know what all of them are. To be honest, there's not a lot on fire side. That fire will never generate revenue and make money. All we can do is try and figure out ways to offset cuts. Just like PD and the other bargaining groups, we're in negotiations with the city. I know Phil talked a lot about the MOU and things like that. We're going to be doing everything we can to try and help out as we can as a bargaining group and as a union, because we just morally cannot let any cuts happen to fire, police, anything else. You know, we want everything to come together. And just to leave you on one final note, the city of San Diego is our big brother to the north, and we always compare ourselves to them and see what their services are like. Their service levels on their fire department are also very low. But for them to match what we provide the city of Chula Vista right now on our 0.49 per capita in stations, they would have to close 12 fire stations today just to match what Chula Vista is currently receiving. And so when we constantly look at that, that's when we're like, man, we need to keep doing more, we need to keep doing better, and we need to find a way to fix this, because the city's still growing, we still need our services, my kids are going to get bigger, and you know, I'd love to have more libraries in the East, I'd love to have another swimming pool in the city and all those sort of things. So definitely we need to work together.